Stop thinking these are just oversized pellet guns, because that mindset will get you completely outclassed in 2026. Most guys still believe big bore PCPs are slow, inefficient, and only good for novelty hunting. And honestly, that's exactly why they keep missing what really matters. Controlled, repeatable kinetic dominance. Here is the deal. Modern 50 cal platforms are not trying to compete with firearms anymore. They are carving out their own lane. Massive slugs, huge air dumps, precision that actually holds at distance if you know what you are doing. And the scary part, some of these rigs are now pushing energy levels that were flat out impossible just a few years ago, while still running on compressed air. Now, the real question is, which ones actually deliver that power without falling apart in the real world? Let's break it down. Kicking off this list at number 7 is the BinTac T50 Extreme. If you are looking for a massive, unyielding bench gun, keep walking. This is a tactical, semi-automatic 50 cal designed for fast engagements and tight spaces. With a foldable buttstock that brings the whole package down to just 35 inches, it is the most portable big bore on the market right now. What makes this rig a true monster is its push into the 7,000 PSI territory. It utilizes an ultra-high pressure air delivery system that completely shatters the old shot count limitations of big bores. By feeding from that massive pressure reserve, the internal valving can cycle the semi-auto action smoothly, while still dumping over 400 foot-pounds of energy per trigger pull. This gives you a ridiculous amount of high power shots before you even think about touching a compressor. When you let this thing eat, the report sounds like a heavy sledgehammer striking a concrete slab. The trigger pull is surprisingly crisp for a semi-auto, snapping like a thin glass rod breaking under pressure before sending a heavy hollow point downrange. You get 2 6-shot magazines right out of the box, letting you put a serious amount of lead on target in a matter of seconds. But here is the truth. Feeding this beast will absolutely drain your wallet. Because it shoots so fast and pushes heavy 50 cal slugs, you are going to burn through expensive premium ammo faster than you can blink. Plus, if you want to actually utilize that 7,000 PSI capability, you will need to buy specialized charging equipment because your standard cheap compressor will not even make a dent in it. Stepping up the firepower, we run into a completely different breed of air gun at number 6. The AEA Megalodon brings something to the big bore table that traditional pump gun guys will immediately recognize and respect: a smooth pump action cycling mechanism. This mechanical choice allows for a significantly higher magazine capacity and faster firing rate than traditional bolt or side lever big bores, giving you a serious advantage when engaging multiple targets. Under the barrel, it utilizes a dual bottle air system with a massive 600 cubic centimeters capacity and a 4,500 pounds per square inch maximum fill pressure. This massive dual reservoir setup is absolutely crucial because it provides the immense air volume needed to feed an 8-shot magazine without dropping off the power curve. Spitting 50 caliber lead downrange, the 22-inch barrel variant easily delivers up to 435 foot-pounds of energy with a 230 grain slug. When you rack the pump, the mechanism locks into battery with a deep metallic clack that feels incredibly secure. Pulling the trigger feels exactly like snapping a thick carrot in half, dropping the hammer and releasing a violent wave of air. The muzzle report sounds like a heavy bass drum, kicking right next to your ear, letting you know serious kinetic energy just cleared the muzzle. But look, there is a glaring ergonomic flaw with the Megalodon that you need to know about. Because you have to manually cycle the pump action after dumping that kind of foot-pound energy, the recoil impulse makes it incredibly difficult to stay on your crosshairs. You have to physically wrestle the gun back into shooting position after every single shot, which makes the rapid fire advantage of that 8-round magazine a lot less practical in the field. Now we get into the serious hunting rigs with the AirForce Tex-Rex brush gun. Introduced at the 2026 SHOT show, this compact beast is engineered specifically for dense brush and high-stakes hunting, where maneuverability is everything. Spitting 50 caliber slugs downrange, it easily generates over 600 foot-pounds of energy, while remaining much shorter than the standard Texan platform. Looking under the hood, it utilizes the proven TX2 inline valve system, but optimized for a shorter threaded barrel. This inline design means the air tank, valve, and barrel are all perfectly aligned on a single axis. Straight flow paths eliminate the turbulent elbow joints found in older air guns, allowing a direct, massive pulse of air to slam into the slug and maximize energy transfer, even with a chopped barrel. When you squeeze the trigger, it breaks like stepping on a brittle sheet of ice. The muzzle report without a moderator barks like a heavy gauge framing nailer. Since the barrel is threaded, you can throw a big can on it and strip away all that turbulent air, bringing the noise down to a dull thud that will not blow out your eardrums in a hunting blind. But listen, because it relies on that short barrel to dump all that energy, it is an absolute air hog. You will be bleeding your tank dry in just a couple of shots, meaning you will be running back to your compressor constantly if you plan on plinking. This is a phenomenal brush gun for hogs, but wait until you see the absolute kinetic sledgehammer we have sitting at number 1. It makes this look like a toy. Entering the elite tier of hunting power, we hit number 4 with the Umarex hammer and its compact brother, the hammer Carbine. I know the traditional firearm guys will doubt this, but sound off below if you have ever dropped a whitetail in its tracks with a regulated 50 cal air gun. This platform completely redefines the big bore category by focusing on regulated precision and rapid follow-up shots instead of just raw, unregulated air dumping. What makes this rifle a surgical tool is the patent-pending lightspeed valve working alongside a dedicated regulator. While most big bores just blast whatever pressure is left in the tank, this system pulses a perfectly measured amount of air, compressed to exactly 3,000 pounds per square inch behind your slug, even if your main tank is fully topped off at 4,500 pounds per square inch. This constant regulation guarantees that your first and third shots have the exact same point of impact, which is absolutely critical for ethical hunting where velocity drops lead to wounded game. Feeding the German-made Walther barrel is an improved pressure seal 2-shot linear shuttle magazine. This updated design stops air from blowing out the breech, bumping your velocity up by an extra 50 feet per second. When you pull through the trigger, it breaks like snapping a dry, thick piece of chalk. The muzzle report thumps like a heavy wooden mallet hitting a leather-heavy bag, pushing massive 50 cal 550 grain lead at over 700 foot-pounds of energy. But let's be real about the sheer size. The standard model is an absolute bowdor. The 43 3/4 inch frame is incredibly cumbersome to haul through thick timber. You will be snagging that long rig on every branch you pass, which is exactly why they had to release the 35-inch carbine version to fix the mobility issue for blind hunting. Getting dangerously close to the crown, we slam into number 3 with the Hatsan PileDriver. This Bullpup kinetic giant is completely optimized for high-powered hunting when you need a shorter overall length but refuse to sacrifice barrel length. Throwing 50 caliber slugs downrange, it easily clears 800 foot-pounds of energy and touches 850 feet per second. What really sets this beast apart from the pack is the unique gas piston hammer spring design. Instead of relying on a traditional coiled steel wire that can fatigue and cause hammer bounce, it uses a sealed gas strut to violently smash the valve open. This mechanical setup delivers a brutal, consistent strike that gives the air enough dwell time to fully accelerate massive projectiles out of that 33-inch precision rifled barrel. Pulling the 2-stage quattro trigger snaps like breaking a heavy frozen branch. When that gas strut drops, the muzzle report barks like dropping a solid cinder block onto a hollow wooden deck. It feeds from a 480 cubic centimeters carbon fiber bottle that you fill to a staggering 4,350 pounds per square inch. Plus, that massive loading port swallows high ballistic coefficient slugs up to 34 millimeters long. Honestly, there is a massive performance quirk when it comes to running this platform, because it relies on that massive burst of unregulated air. This barrel absolutely hates lightweight ammo. If you try pushing standard lead through it, the sheer blast from that 4,350 psi reservoir will strip the projectile and send it tumbling. You are strictly locked into buying heavy premium custom cast slugs if you actually want to maintain any acceptable group sizes past 50 yards. Sitting right on the steps of the throne, we have the legendary AirForce Texan 50 caliber. This is the iconic big bore PCP that practically built the modern slug shooter market, and the 2026 iteration is still setting the production standard. Thumping heavy 50 caliber lead downrange, it is completely capable of generating over 800 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. Looking underneath that aircraft-grade aluminum frame, the true genius of this platform is the ring-lock adjustable power wheel. Instead of tearing the gun apart to change your hammer spring tension, this external mechanism lets you quickly tune the rifle's output for specific projectiles. You can easily dial the power down for lighter slugs to increase your shot count, or crank it wide open for maximum air delivery when pursuing large predators. Tucking this 8-pound rig into your shoulder feels incredibly rigid despite its massive 48-inch overall length. Squeezing the trigger breaks like snapping a brittle, hollow reed. When that TX2 valve opens, the muzzle report cracks like a high-voltage transformer blowing out, sending lead out of a 34-inch Lothar Walther barrel at over 1,000 feet per second. It breathes from a 500cc spin Eloc aluminum tank filled to 3,625 psi, giving you 4 to 5 massive power shots before you need to refill. But listen, there is a glaring aesthetic and ergonomic flaw with the standard design. The straight-line, industrial aluminum chassis literally feels like you are holding a piece of cold construction scaffolding. It has absolutely zero traditional cheek weld comfort out of the box, forcing you to adapt to the bare metal or buy aftermarket pads just to get a decent, consistent sight picture through your scope. Now we reach the undisputed heavyweight king of airgun power, the AEA Zeus Gen 2. If you want the raw, destructive impact of a big bore, nothing else on the production market even comes close. It gives you the massive kinetic energy that completely eclipses the AirForce Texan at number 2, and it delivers a devastating terminal impact that makes the Umarex hammer at number 4 look like a backyard plinker. What makes this 50-plus caliber platform the crown jewel is its optimized, unregulated straight flow valve system paired with a massive 660 cubic centimeters air reservoir. Instead of restricting airflow to save your shot count, this heavy-duty valve stays open just long enough to dump a catastrophic volume of air compressed to 4,500 pounds per square inch directly behind the projectile. This mechanical setup is absolutely necessary to push a massive 58 caliber or 72 caliber solid lead slug down a 32-inch rifled barrel without losing pressure before it exits the muzzle. Squeezing the trigger feels like snapping a thick piece of hardened clay. When that massive side lever drops the hammer, the muzzle report explodes like a heavy steel dumpster dropping onto solid asphalt. It is an absolute cannon, easily generating over 1,315 foot-pounds of energy in the 58 caliber configuration and up to 1,500 foot-pounds in the 72 caliber variant. To handle a recoil impulse comparable to a heavy center-fire Magnum rifle, the chassis weighs in at nearly 12 pounds unloaded. That heavy mass combined with an integrated muzzle brake keeps the beast tame enough for you to stay on your scope. You only get 3 to 4 lethal shots per fill, but when you are hunting full-grown bison or elk, this single-shot sledgehammer is the definitive tool for a humane one-shot harvest. Look, the 2026 market has completely matured into specialized tiers of kinetic dominance. Whether you are chasing the absolute one-shot stopping power of a single-shot sledgehammer or the rapid-fire utility of a tactical pump action, this insane power is finally accessible to the everyday shooter. You just have to be willing to invest in the high-pressure infrastructure to feed these pneumatic marvels. As these rigs continue to legitimately outperform traditional handgun rounds in terminal impact, they have permanently solidified their place as a respected class of modern weaponry. The line between air and powder is thinner than it has ever been. If you want the raw truth without the marketing fluff, lock it in right here.